My wife joins us, Erica Kirk. We have asked the audience for questions. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer any thoughts that you have.
You choose the first one.
How long have you been married, and when did you know it was time to get married?
We've been married since 2021, engaged 2020. We laugh about this because our dates are so messed up because of babies, anniversaries, kids' birth
May
dates.
14th,
Yeah,
August
all the
23rd.
things.
How did you know it was time to get married? I mean,
almost 4 years in
I
May.
proposed and she said yes.
How did we know? You just know.
That's easy. You pick one.
Who is more conservative and why?
Erica. Not even close. I am a moderate compared to Erica.
Once you got married to me, you got more based.
That's true. That is true. Erica is very conservative.
I was raised well.
Yes, you have a great mom.
My grandfather was an immigrant from Sweden and fought in World War II and the Korean War and knighted by the King of Sweden. And he was always super far right.
Young women are liberals because they don't have kids usually, typically?
No, I wouldn't say that because I have some friends who are still not married and don't have kids and they're conservative and they're finding it hard to find a mate. But also, too, you have to understand, and that also goes back to how'd you know it was time to get married? Understanding your biblical role as a wife and a mother and knowing that you're ready to step into that motherhood, that being a wife.
What traits should conservative women be looking for in men and vice versa?
Is he going to lead you closer to Christ or further away? Make sure you're equally yoked. That's so important. You know, the men that are just grabbing the low-hanging fruit, meaning on the apps. Women get upset when they go on a date with a guy they found on an app and all of a sudden they ghost them. To me, it's because the guy didn't have to hunt for them. They made it so easy on an app to just press a button. I'm not saying apps are bad. I mean, I've had friends who did find their significant other on an app. It's like the lottery, the likelihood of you finding your future husband or wife on an app. I literally won the jackpot with my husband.
Vice versa. Women should look for men that have self-control, and men should look for women that are willing to submit. Basically a non-feminist woman.
Marriage in the right context is so beautiful because your husband will give up anything and everything for you in a healthy manner, but they will literally love you and cherish you. All the noise aside and focus on wife, children, family. For me as a wife, my biblical role is to be the helpmate to my husband. That does not mean that I am above you. I love that you lead our home. You are so intentional with your faith as a wife. I am to quote unquote submit to you, which is a beautiful word because that's the order of how it's supposed to go. And God will bless that. I am the wife. I am in charge of certain things, guardian of the home, helping with the children. That is so I can make it easy for my husband to do what he needs to do. The problem is that some women, after they have children, they lose that fire that they got at the altar, that fiery spirit of this is the man I've been praying for. They get burned out because of the kids or because of circumstances. And then it's like, submitting to my husband, that sounds exhausting. It's supposed to be liberating. Submission's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it says submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Do you think that most women struggle with it because of a kind of feminist mentality?
Yeah, Christianity in itself has become semi-feminized, making the Bible feminine, and it's not, but it's a beautiful book on how to live your life, and it has nothing to do with being feminine or being masculine. It's all about Jesus. It's all about God. It always leads you back to God. When you're in a biblical marriage, you are supported and you're loved, and your viewpoint is just as important. You have to let your husband lead. The husband needs to always be in a position of understanding his biblical role. Even if the husband understands it and reminds his wife, or the wife reminds the husband, like, let's pray together. Let's recenter our relationship and marriage to make it healthy and Christ-centered. It's important.
Erica, do you ever get hate from Charlie's work? How do you handle it? Charlie, do you ever feel guilt, or do you ever deal with guilt when Erica gets hate? No, I don't.
This is how I know God made us for each other, because anytime I do get quote unquote hate, it's the same stuff you get. Yes, I do. I've lost family members, I've lost friends, but I actually am kind of grateful that that's happened because God has pruned my life in a way where I am surrounded in a circle now by people who love us, pray with us.
Small, mighty circle.
And that's what I would much rather have, a small, mighty circle than a massive one.
Dating apps and like dating services, are those two different?
I hear dating services are awful. But how lazy does that make the man to be able to be, they're presented a binder of women and they're like, do you want a brunette?
Women are becoming notoriously pickier than men, though.
Right.
Women are actually grading they say they're unhappier with the dating pool right now than men. And part of it, by the way, is incredibly superficial. Men aren't attractive. What you prioritize is what you get. If you prioritize trying to find a spouse, you're much higher likelihood to find one. Figure out ways to make more money. I don't want to say it's not that hard, but if you work hard and apply yourself and obsess, you can make more money. Invest in yourself, learn more, be scrappier. I don't want to say it's easy because it's not necessarily easy, but it's easy to not be poor if you're a man. You have to make a decision, a conscious choice to not have a poverty mindset.
But what about school debt?
Men will find a greater pool of women if they increase their income.
What's your favorite memory pre-kids, post-kids?
Going to Israel, definitely.
I loved that. Before I met you, when I went previously, was with my mom on a pilgrimage. And the whole time I was there, I was praying for my future husband. Didn't know it was you. And we were both in Israel. Anytime I could find a place to put a little piece of paper of a prayer in a hole in a wall, that was me praying for you. And then I got to go back with you was surreal.
How about post kids? I'd say Maine was pretty great.
Seeing Gigi at dance class, just little things like that.
How would you tell young married couples who are going to start having families to prepare/ready their marriage for the changes that come with it?
That's a great question.
Get premarital counseling.
Premarital counseling. Put your spouse first.
Save money.
Save money. Instead of investing in a bunch of clothes that they'll grow out of really quickly, they should have you know how people do honeymoon funds? They should do a fund where it's overnight help if they don't have a family member to help them.
I totally agree. I'll be very honest. The man has to start earning enough money where the wife or the mom does not have to work. And if the man is incapable of doing that, figure it out. Become a man.
For a female perspective, make sure that you don't get so hyper fixated on the birth process once you're about to have a child. Like, don't be so fixated and obsessed with, I am going to have a child on my couch, in my living room, free birth, no drugs, and then leave no room for God's will if that totally does not happen.
Young married couples, look, keep your faith first and try to identify any fleshly problems that you might be having. So if the wife might have a gossip problem or a spending money problem, or the husband might have an alcohol problem, try to get those things settled before you enter kids into the world.
I think it's really important that women do not gossip to their friends about their husband, because first of all, friends can be very unforgiving when it comes to certain things with husband, but what you talk about with your spouse behind closed doors needs to stay there. Goes through one ear and literally ends at the other ear. And you do not share it, you do not repeat it. You have to continually invest and the confidence in one another that you're on the same team, you support each other, you love each other, you're not going to undercut each other, you're not going to sabotage one another unknowingly because you're trying to impress a friend that you have. Do not compare your husband to other women's husbands. Like, your husband's good at, someone else's husband might not be good at, so just like love your husband, love him so much that, and understand and hold in your heart that God has put you guys together for a reason to have a beautiful family, and children are a blessing from the Lord. And don't forget your husband in the process, and don't forget your husband in the chaos of having kids. We can go to the next question.
No, I totally agree.
What should be the order when it comes to God, kids, and marriage, and why?
It's God first, then marriage, then kids. Right.
It is. You get to choose the next one. These are great questions.
The study shows that married women with kids are the happiest. Why do you think that is? I mean, it's just nature. I mean, just becoming a CEO of a shoe company is not going to give you happiness.
Women have it so mixed up. You can have a career after children, but if you try to have a career while you have your kids, there is no such thing as balance. That is such a myth. I can't spend half of the day doing one thing. I missed out half of that time with being with the kids. So like, you have to choose where your heart has to be fully with. You have to make that decision on your own, but you can always, after your kids are in school or after they're in high school, you can always go back to work. But if you miss those precious first few years, that is so hard to make up, because memories are so much more important than an added paycheck.
It's how God has wired us, and it's our nature, which is to have children, not just have a bigger bank account. Next question. What means the most to Charlie coming home from the battlefield what means most to Erica when Charlie is at home? I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
I understand the question. Charlie will text me and say, keep things boring.
Yes.
So anyways, keep things boring so that he can be on the battlefield and not be mortified when he comes home.
How much did you guys discuss religion, finances, politics, how to raise children before getting engaged? If I could just chime in on one of them. Men, you should be completely in charge of finances, and your wife should have nothing to do with it. I mean, they can have input, but you should release that burden from your wife and just take care of all the money.
I love the fact that I can relinquish that role to my husband because he's so good at it, but relinquish it to him and say, I trust you so much. I know you're going to help provide for our family. That is one less thing I have to not deal with, but to be able to relinquish that to you is so liberating.
Yep.
And I can focus on other things that are way more important because that's your domain and I don't have to worry about it.
And if you are marrying a man that is not capable of completely and totally handling the finances, then you should not marry that man. Finances will break a marriage quicker than anything else, period.
But what if he checks all of the boxes? He just is horrible at money.
Fine.
And you're really good at
matter.
money.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. I mean, then all of a sudden you're talking about a reverse. I think then you're talking about very confused
roles.
gender rules. Then are you going to be a stay-at-home dad? Is that basically what that is?
Okay, but then what about the women that are the ones that write the checks and do the bills?
Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, it can work. I'm sure it has. But I see those marriages careening for divorce quicker than anything else. Here's why. We as men are hardwired to produce for the family. We find meaning. We find purpose. You would I'd have the worst day ever, but I'd know that today I'm paying for tuition. And for men, we find great purpose in being able to come back home being like, we provided for all of this.
My dad was a stay-at-home dad for a few years, and I got to say it was really sweet and really special. I was 4, but that was...
Of course, it's not an indictment of the morality.
But if you're
about,
saying from the get-go, I want to be a stay-at-home
It is a imbalance.
dad.
It's an imbalance of nature. And some people are able to
Right.
juggle imbalances of nature.
Your husband has to
odds
be
are
the one
against
that goes out into the world and builds and battles and comes home. Conquers, comes home and is like, this is my nest egg. This is what I worked so hard for. And the wife is like, welcome home, babe. Whatever you need, we're here.
Financial burdens should not be brought into the concern of the wife. It should.
Well, then it bleeds into the kids, and the kids are like, oh, I can't afford to do
why
this.
Why am I being so firm on this? Because I know the number one reason why people cheat on their wives and why divorce happens is financial. It is number one. It is the number one thing. It collapses and breaks apart marriages more than anything else. And so if you have a husband that leads in it, and it's not that, again, it comes easy to me, but guys, don't borrow money. You just start with that principle. You're not going to have any credit card debt. Now, you can use credit cards, just pay them off every month. And the only other debt that's acceptable is a mortgage payment. If you just start with that principle, you're going to be in a much better spot.
But how? What if the guy comes from nothing and doesn't know where to start?
Then he shouldn't be getting married. Then he's a boy. Boys should not get married.
I love you.
I love you too. If you are not capable of providing for a wife or a family, then you should take some time before you get married. You got to figure yourself out. You got to get a skill. You got to get disciplined. You have to get...
There's a season for everything.
Yeah.
And I know that for some young girls out there, or even older women who are still looking for their human, a season of waiting is to encourage you to just continue to trust God's timing. And if you're in a season of pruning, that's probably because God's trying to refine you. And if you're in a season of fruitfulness, then enjoy that and embrace that.
I will add to that men have a much longer horizon of waiting than women. And what men need to get equipped for actually might not be as natural. Women can make very good mothers with almost no training. It's just at 23, 24, women can make good mothers.
I don't know about that. That's hit or miss. Because some women they have to be equipped for it too, and their heart's prepared for it, or else they're going to stick their kid in front of Coco Melon.
Next question. How would you wait well for a spouse?
First of all, this is more of a health standpoint. Get your blood work done every 6 months.
Don't have sex before you get married.
Don't have sex before you get married. Really be intentional about growing down before you grow up and out, meaning make sure that your heart is so rooted in Christ. Make sure that you're reading the Bible every single day. Make sure that you're in a position where you're living your life that he has to seek God in order to even be able to touch the slightest bit of your heart. Dress well. It's not saying you have to look like you're on a red carpet every single day, but take care of yourself. If you can't afford to get your nails and hair done, that's fine. There's still ways to make yourself look like you care about. I'm not saying from a prideful standpoint, but be grateful that God gave you the body he gave you. Be grateful that you're healthy. If you're not healthy, that you have doctors in your life to help get you there. Just constantly be grateful. There's always something to be grateful for, and just find a way to be able to get yourself in the proper mindset and headspace of knowing that you are so intentional about this time and you're in a stream of significance rather than focusing on what everyone else has. And you are in a position where when and if the man has sought you out and he will tell you, I am intentional about this. I'm not trying to beat around the bush. I want to date you and I want to marry you. When it's that type of guy, you will know and you'll be ready. You won't say, oh, I don't know about this. Like, you will be prepared. Just take care of yourself.
I agree. I think we have one more.
Okay.
What do you think about schooling for kids? What are you planning on doing?
We will be homeschooling, especially in the beginning. At first, I will be honest, at first I was horrified thinking I am horrible at math and geometry, but I'm excited. To some extent, I'm excited, and this is why I think that women lose a portion of their brain capacity after every single kid. It's because then you get excited to homeschool your kids and you get to relearn everything all over again, and you're excited about learning about triangles and octagons and proper grammar all over again because you have that brain space to do it. And you're excited. Plus, we want to travel with the kids. To be honest with you, I do not want to deal with kids going up to either of our children and being like, I hate you because of your father.
Eventually, once they get old enough, they'll get into school.
Right,
Maybe
exactly.
6th, 7th, 8th grade maybe. But
right, especially for sports too.
I encourage everyone, if you can homeschool, and if you can't homeschool, I would love to know the reason why.
Or you can do pod schooling where you have a teacher come to your friend's house and you all share a teacher.
I love you.
I love you too. So we read the Bible cover to cover. We do not miss a day. 365 days, words of encouragement, whatever you need, we're there.
I love you.
I love you, baby.
God bless you guys.